It is time to make our decision. We have 3 options to take. Which one will it be? Welcome to episode 17 of our Atalanta portion of Doleboy. The save was originally supposed to be a kind of path to Villa. I then ebbed away from that because we'd lost quite a lot of our youngsters. And I was enjoying the teams that I was with. So I thought, you know what, we'll stay with Atalanta, we'll crack on with them, we'll go forward. Turns out Eddie Howe's now been sacked, who is the most recent sacking since the last time I applied. And they have offered me the job. This was all covered in the previous episode, where I'd also put on the bottom asks on your opinions. I had 3 votes. One of them were mine. And they were all for the same kind of, the same thing. So, we'll have a little look at the 3 options. The third one being to kind of drop off and just do like seasonally updates. I'm not going to do that. So now it's either between staying with Atalanta or moving over to Villa. So we have a 2.3 million wage budget. The wages they're giving us are 45k and a transfer budget of 75 million. They are just looking to avoid relegation and then to become an established Premier League team. Obviously, we want more than that. We want the Champions League with them, which I don't think is unachievable, but we'll have to have a little look. Hopefully they can have a takeover as well if we do go with them, and then we'll get a buttload of money. Atalanta, funnily enough, have just made more funds available because they know that we've been offered a job. They're trying to keep us on. So has that swung the needle anywhere? Who knows? But currently the team have a wage budget of 1.6, should we say, rounding up 1.6 grand a week. So we're getting an extra £500,000 per week. It's not, is it? I genuinely can't figure it out. Yeah, it is £500,000 a week. That's a lot of money. And the transfer budget is obviously like what, 68 million less, 58 million. I'm not sure. It's an amount less. The balance of the club at the moment is 28 million, even though they've had a tycoon takeover. It went from minus 91 to 55, and it is depleting. So even though we currently have tycoons in charge, unless they are regularly pumping in stupid amounts of money, I wouldn't expect massive transfer kind of kitties. We do have a decent-sized stadium with these. It's not amazing, but it's all right. 22,500 seat stadium. It's a good ground. It's, as I say, it's just not perfect. They have agreed to increase the transfer budget for next year, and the training facilities and the youth facilities have all been increased as well. I don't believe there's an option for me to request a new ground. They're happy with me at the club. I've not signed players from the lower level of the domestic game, but they'll get over it. It's all good. We're on a B. We're having a wonderful time. Should we leave? I'm not really too fussed. There's just a few players that I'd see the back of, which I don't want to. One being our goalkeeper, Franz Berger, who has recently picked up an injury and he's out for up to 4 weeks still. So I physically do not have a goalkeeper. Manuel Lanzi had to play in goal for our game against Udinese, which isn't ideal. That's maybe swung the needle back the other way from the transfer budget. But he is worth, you're probably looking 120, 125 million. You may even be looking at like 150 towards 200 if you were selling him, which is brilliant considering we did spend a lot of money on him, 67 million. It's good to see that that is beneficial, and we'll probably make profit should we sell him, which, if we're being realistic, we are a selling club. So if someone came interested in him, we'd probably let him go. But it's Favasuli. I don't want to see the back of him. Look at the state of him. He's just pretty good. His physicals are sublime. Everything is green except for balance, which is 15. His bravery is 18. He's got a bunch more attributes, which are just shy of that green mark as well. He's just fantastic. He just is. If there's any way that I can bring him if I leave, then I'll be looking at that. But I don't think that's going to be realistic, to be honest. And if it is, it will take all and some of my transfer budget. So I don't think there's a way that we're going to be playing with Favasuli again anytime soon. with Villa. So we'll have a little look over to the team themselves. They do currently have a bank balance of 36 million, so it's slightly more than Atalanta's, even though these don't have a tycoon takeover. They've got a decent amount of money in the bank. Their wage bill, as it says, 2.1 million. Their average wage is about 30k, and the stadium is over twice the size of Atalanta's. So there's a lot of revenue there that can be brought in. And what are the gate receipts we're looking at recently? They're not far off, to be fair. We're looking at the home games, 18. That was in the cup, to be fair. And you're looking mid to high 40s, so you're almost maxing out there as well. We actually had a capacity crowd for our game against Wolves as well, which is realistically our only derby at the moment. So there is definitely stuff to go with. They are on the back of a 5-game losing streak, and they've only lost one game in 2 months, which isn't ideal. So there's definitely something to be turning around there, whereas Atalanta's already on the up. Players-wise, a lot of decent players. And obviously, if we bring in the players and tactics, then that's something we're going to do. So, as I say, we're going to make that decision right now. And it involves me pressing the little blue button down here and taking the job. Obviously, we're going to ask for just a little bit more. I'll put the relegation wage drop up because obviously we're not going to get relegated. Beautiful. They give me 50 grand a week. We'll accept that. We'll exit the talks. We'll just have a little butchers as to see what we paid already. So we've been paid 32 grand a week. So not only are we moving closer to home, being about 10 miles from home, we've been paid an absolute stack load of money to do so. It just means that we are leaving a beautiful country and place in Italy to go and move back to Birmingham, which is, I mean, I've lived there most of my life. It's not the prettiest of seas. And here we are. We'll do a little bit of an intro, and we'll come in for the first game, actually with Villa, in that episode 1. So in a move which is sure to spark plenty of heated debate, of course, because they all do, apparently, I arrived with a record of 238 wins, 75 draws, and 90 defeats. So we haven't hit the 100 defeat mark yet. And I'm hoping that we can get 250 wins before we hit 100 defeats. Let's go with that. I've won 2 league titles, which were with FF Yarrow and I think Den Haag, if I remember rightly, for the Erste Divisie, but I might be completely wrong. Stevens is managing one of his favourite clubs, just his favourite club. I do have a few, to be fair. They are my club. Look at the picture. I don't need to prove it to anyone. Let's move on. First game in charge will be against Burnley. Ooh, the old claret and blue derby. I'm having to make some up because Blues are useless and they're not actually giving us any derbies, which I'm a bit upset about. I'll face pressure as to bring immediate success. I'm also going to bring a ridiculous tactic, but we can move. Matthias Almeida was considered the favourite, but they've signed me up because screw him, pretty much. They'll be looking for a new manager with Atalanta, obviously, because their manager's just left. And I'll be bringing John Terry back to Villa Park, along with quite a few backroom staff, I believe. It's only mentioned the one, which is a bit odd, so I'll have to check that my other boys have come along. I've accumulated 10 years of experience with the likes of Atalanta, Fiorentina, and myself a reputation of playing entertaining football, and seems to be a great fit with the vision of Villa Park. I prefer to use a 4-3-3, maybe, probably not. And I lifted the Keukenkampioenen with ADO Den Haag. Or a hiccup. And I'll now be afforded the chance to enhance my reputation and bring success to the Birmingham club. They've suffered 4 straight league defeats and are relegation candidates, finding themselves in 18th place, which isn't ideal. We've still got Johan Langer there, and our assistant manager, the boys come over. Last season, we don't know what that is, but currently they're 18th, so we'll move with that. We've already been knocked out of the EFL Cup, and the FA Cup, we're still pottering about. We've won 1 Champions League. We're going to make that 2. Unless we fired, which will be an upsetting end. The media predicts us to be in 13th, and as we say, we've covered our finances, etc. They have us lined up with a peculiar formation, which I don't think I've ever played, but whatever. Gavin Lewis's name is popping out at the bottom quite a bit, and from what I've seen, he's a pretty decent player. We do have the chance to amend our expectations. So we can push for a mid-table finish, and instead of being 75 million, they'll give us an extra 12 million on top of that, and an extra 200 grand wage budget, which is pretty good. I'm going to go for it. Why not? Why not just push the boat out and be even more ridiculous than what was expected of me? I'm not going to create tactic on this because I'll have a little look at what the boys do. In talk of Gavin Lewis, I can't click on his name there, but if we go on dynamics, they're not atrocious. They should be decent. We'll hold a little team meeting, have a chat with them in a little bit. Do you know what? Let's do it now. I want to introduce myself as a manager. Oh, they're having a wonderful time. What's this? I don't want to make any promises. I don't. Promises are pointless. We'll aim for mid-table finish. Are they going to be upset? They're loving it. They are absolutely loving it. We'll go for latter stages of the FA Cup. Your man's pleased as well. Look at that. Happy faces everywhere. And the dressing room atmosphere is it's moving in the right way already. After a slight seat adjustment, because I felt like I was sat on the floor, we've got a few boys at the team that aren't particularly happy. So we're going to have a look at moving those on if need to be. Our influencers, we'll have a little look at Gavin Lewis because he's supposed to be the boy, and he is exactly that. He looks pretty splendid. He's a leading player for most Premier League teams. He's valued at only 80 and 87 million, which is odd. I thought he'd be a bit more than that. But do you know what? I've got no reason to be selling him or moving him on. He is currently wanted, however, by Chelsea and Man U, so it might be tricky to keep him on. But we'll have to see what we can do. Or just get a ridiculous amount of money for him. That would be preferable. So we'll have a little build of the tactic now. We'll create our own. I have an idea what I want to do. Recently done a save with Andrew. It's not a save, actually. That's a lie. It's kind of one-off videos. We did one on his channel. We've got one on ours coming out tomorrow. I did do a tactic on that, which I think might work. I don't know how much it's going to carry over, but I'm intrigued to see what we can do from it. But it appears very, very defensive, but it is also incredibly aggressive at the same time. So I'll keep this as a kind of a backup formation. But I think it could be worth having this in our Arsenal. Don't like Arsenal. We'll just move on. Pretend I didn't say that. But while the player's positioning is incredibly aggressive, the actual players themselves are completely because I'm doing stuff as well as talking. I struggle. The players' positions are incredibly reserved, but their mentalities and what they're actually doing is incredibly aggressive. So it is quite good, to be fair. So I'll have a little look at what we can do with that. It works pretty well with Man City. It wasn't amazing, but it did the job it needed to do. So it left me with a little bit of food for thought, and I think it might actually be able to transfer over for these. So we've got a lot of men on the ball. I think that could work a job. But as I say, I'll have a look through at some different ones, see if we can do anything else. But I'll build the team into this tactic, and then obviously when we are back for the next episode, or the first episode, should I say, we can have a little look at the actual tactics I've built. But we've definitely got some stuff here which can be useful for us. We don't have many holding mids, though, which could be a little bit of an issue. Ezri Konsa's playing as a volante on attack at the age of 34. Probably not going to do pretty well there, is he? Nicholas Oliver, I don't have a clue who he is, but he looks pretty handy. I've realised you can't see. Let me open his player thing up. Is he another one of our boys? No, he seems to have started off at Glenavon, and then we signed him for a whole 18 grand, and he's had plenty of seasons with us and done pretty well. So that's what we've got at the moment. It seems that we need a new holding mid, a new goalkeeper, definitely, because Gregor Cobalt isn't particularly good. Maybe a new centre mid as well. But other than that, we've got a decent team. We've got a nice little bit of money coming in. We'll have a little look, see what's pottering about on the transfer market. On top of that as well, who is available at the end of their contract? What can we do here? We'll go for a quick search for the players that are expiring. And we'll just order it down by value and see who the team are aware of. It's quite tricky to look at that because I just realised that there aren't actually many players that are expiring in 6 months. I need to change it to a year. And then, okay, we've got the likes of Lisandro Martinez. Now you're pulling out some players that are a little bit better. But we'll be back with this, and I hope you'll be there, because we'll have episode 1 out towards the start of next week. We've still got Duisburg going down quite well as well. You may see this little tactic pop up into the Duisburg save, because I've got quite a few holding mids in that as well. So it could be worth having a look there. It's quite similar to the tactics that I had on that screen as well. But we've definitely got something to work with here. I'm happy to see that we're going over to Villa. I've just realised I was going to change the colour for you, and I never did. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. I hope you'll be there with us for the start, which is, as I say, start next week. We've got our Duisburg save popping about. Make sure you go over on Sunday and look at the video with Andrew. Go over to his channel as well. Give him a little like and subscribe. That'll be beautiful. Items over here, so you can carry on watching me ugly mug. And thank you very much for your time.